Welcome to this week's Launch and Learn. It's Thursday, so it is that time. I am live on Facebook and on Instagram, so say hi in the comments wherever you're watching from, or if you're watching the replay, let me know that you are catching that. So today, hopefully this goes okay. Usually I do a little bit of prep before I go live, but I had a pretty back-to-back morning, so we're going a little bit off the cuff today, which is fun and a little nerve-wracking for me sometimes. So, but today we're going to talk about social proofing your launch. So, when we talk about social proof, we're talking about things like testimonials, things like case studies, things like social sharing of results that you've gotten for people or experiences that people have had with you, transformations that they've gotten, and incorporating those things into your marketing. And most of you will be familiar with this, right? From if you have a company website where you have a page on your website that is for praise or for love notes from clients, or incorporated if you have a one-page website where you have people's testimonials incorporated, that's considered social proof. And social proof is really powerful in terms of marketing because I think the statistics are, and I don't have a specific place because I've seen the statistic, all over the place, but so I don't know what the original source is, but 90+% of people say that they rely on other people's experiences, reviews, testimonials when they're making a buying decision. So when you're going into oh my gosh, I just realized I only have one earring on, guys. That's hilarious. That actually happens to me a lot. I have a lot of earrings that I don't wear backs to. And I was just on a phone call. I just had a phone call with someone that I haven't talked to in a really long time. And we actually had a phone call, not like a Zoom call. And I had to take my earring out because I couldn't, it was like messing with me holding the phone. So, okay, we'll just take that other one out so we it'll look unbalanced. So anyway, I digress. So yes, so as I was saying, social proof is really important. It's a part of, people relying on reviews and testimonials to make their buying decisions. And what we'll talk a little bit about today, right, is social proofing your launch. But in reality, you can be incorporating social proof into your marketing really consistently, whether you're in launch or not in launch. And what we're going to talk about today, you can incorporate into that generally, regardless of whether you're launching or not. And hello, amazing sunny nature. Yeah. Thanks for joining and thanks for commenting. So, okay. So first things first. So like I said, when we're talking about social proof, we're talking about things like written testimonials. We're talking about things like case studies, like video case studies, or written case studies, where you're sharing a process and transformation that you've taken people through. We're talking about screenshots of results that you've gotten for people where they're sharing their results with you. I'm sure if you work in the online space, right, you've seen this kind of stuff incorporated onto people's websites, onto their sales pages, into their social media. And I've seen this as a pretty big gap for people, even in terms of people that have run multiple rounds of programs or courses. Quite often when they start to work with me as part of their launch strategy as a launch manager and launch strategist, a lot of people are missing social proof, even though they've gotten tons of really good results. They've run their programs and filled their programs and gotten people results multiple rounds of time, but they're missing that step in their process to capture that feedback and then incorporate it back into their marketing to support other people with their buying decisions. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to incorporate a step in your process to collect social proof, and then also where and how you can use social proof as part of your launch. But again, you can double that, right? And also incorporate that just into your regular business marketing, not just during launch periods. So, okay. So, Oh, thank you. Thanks for the feedback. So in terms of collecting social proof, so there's several different ways that you can go about this, and one of the most common ways that I've seen is to collect feedback through a survey or form. And depending on what you're getting feedback on, that may dictate when and how you collect that information. So, for instance, if you run live events and you have people that are coming to a multiple day live event, right? You can incorporate a survey or a form before the live event completes. So, like on the last day, in the last hour, or maybe not in the last hour, because sometimes people fall off at the end there, but midday, or depending on how many days it is and how long it is. Thinking about a time where you might have some peak attendance for people that have been through the experience with you, and sharing a survey or a form directly on the event to get people's feedback, right? And what I want to say about this too is it's not just about getting people's feedback to produce testimonials, though that's what we're talking about today, but getting feedback in general, I think we can all agree, is really, really helpful, right? We all want to create the best experience for people. And, the clients the coaches that I work with are, typically what we would refer to as like heart-centered coaches, right? Where they're really on a mission. And so collecting feedback isn't just to produce testimonials, but it's also to get genuine feedback on things that you can improve for the experience for people. So it really has two functions, right? And so sharing a survey or form before the event ends to get people to fill it out. And the reason why I say that is because once an event ends, if you send an email or you try to get feedback after, typically, like, sometimes you've lost a lot of people's attention already, right? So getting people to fill out a form, and I've seen this lots of times, right? When you send it through an email, like, you may just get trickles, right, of people's feedback in. Rather, if you share it live when you're on an event and just have people take a couple minutes to submit their feedback, you can get it right away and make sure that you get it while people are attentive. In terms of programs and courses, you can have a step in your program or course where you're collecting feedback, again, twofold. One, to get feedback on the experience so you can improve it, and two, to collect social proof before you go into your launch. So, and in terms of what I think is a really great strategy for this is actually when your program starts is to have an intake form where you're getting people's to let you know where they're at when they're starting your program or course, right? What are the things they're struggling with when they first start? Where is their business at if you're doing business coaching, in terms of revenue, client roster, how they're feeling in their business, what things are working, what things may not be working, what does their team look like, those kinds of things. And you want to collect both experiential information, like how are they feeling about their business, what are they doing, where are they focusing their time and energy, and also qualitative data. So how many clients do they have? What is their revenue? How many hours are they working in their business? I'm using, if you're doing business coaching as an example, obviously, if you're doing parenting coaching, right? How do they feel about their relationship with their kids when they start your program? What kind of challenges are they having at that point in time with their children? And then subsequent to that, as the program completes and is wrapping up, and I've known people to do it midpoint too, so midpoint or towards the end or both, is collecting feedback on where they are then at that point, after they've done some work with you and they've gone through this experience with you, asking those same questions and having them reflect back on the progress that they've made. And again, this is great because it fills two roles, right? One, you're providing really great value to the people because you're giving them an exercise and a practice to reflect on how much progress they've made, the changes that they've gone through, the transformation that they've experienced, the up level that they've gone through. And again, you're also can collect, well, threefold. You also can collect feedback to help you where there may be gaps in your process or what you're delivering. And that's also the opportunity to get some social proof from them. So if you're doing a live event, sharing like a simple survey or form while you're live on the event or in your post follow-up sequence. If you have a program or a course, having an intake form, asking people where they're at, both from an experiential sense and from a qualitative sense. And then as the program completes, coming back to a reflection exercise where you're asking that same information. And on those forms, getting their feedback, and then also having a place on there for them to write an actual testimonial and give you permission to use that as well. Okay. The other way you can collect social proof is through the form of case studies. So actually, going through your current client roster and kind of those people that are really getting great results and are really showing up, and asking them if they want to jump on like a video interview with you to do a video case study, and having them talk about where they were, again, you'll notice the theme here, right, with this, where they were, what challenges they were experiencing, where their business was or where their life was or whatever the case may be, then where they are now, and what parts of your program supported them in going from point A to point B. Case studies can be really powerful because it's not just the written word, right? You're hearing someone's story, and stories are really powerful, right? So, and not just that, but people can hear someone's story and relate to them, right, on a really deep level. If they hear their voice and they see them speaking and they're hearing their story and they can relate to it in some way, can really speak to someone emotionally and support them in knowing whether or not what you're providing can really work for them, and helps them in making a buying decision, whether it's like, no, this isn't for me, that doesn't sound like the process I want to go through, or like, wow, that, like, I'm in that same exact situation and that could really work for me. So surveys and forms, case studies, you can also do, instead of like a survey or form, I've had a lot of clients that have done kind of closing ceremonies or reflection ceremonies in a group setting, right, where you have everybody on and you're asking them to reflect back as a group on what they've learned and the transformation that they've achieved. And then what you can do with that, of course, getting permission from the people that are participating, but you can have that transcribed, right? And then pull out those individual testimonials and with people's permission, start to share that in your marketing. And then what was the other one? If you have a Facebook group, so if you have a program or a course where you have a Facebook group, doing something like a weekly wins post, right? Like Wednesday wins or weekly wins on Fridays, where people are sharing the wins that they've had and celebrating the things that they've achieved throughout the week, is a great way to support them again in a reflective practice, and also gain that social proof that you can use in your marketing. So that was the other thing. I think that was the only two. Oh, and then, I mean, of course, you can do one-on-one, outside from like a case study, like a one-on-one reflection call with people, where again, it's a similar process. You're asking similar questions. It's just delivered and received in a different kind of format. And depends on what, how people are working with you. If they're working with you one-on-one, it may make sense for you to have a one-on-one reflection call with them. If you're working in a group program, it may make sense to have a group reflection call. Or if it's something more like an event or a course, it may make sense to have a step to have them submit a survey, a reflection survey or form. So those are some of the ways that you can collect social proof. And you really should have it as part of a regular process in your business. Now I've worked with plenty of people on a launch management basis, right? Where we go in and we're launching a program that they've been running like several times. And it's like, hey, do you have testimonials? And they're like, no, we don't have any testimonials, right? So then it's like at that point, you're going through this whole process to gather all of those things, sometimes from people that haven't been in the program for years, right? Whereas if you have this as a steady process, in your business, when people complete or as they're completing, that you have a step for this, for collecting feedback for yourself, providing reflection to them, and getting social proof and testimonials, then you already have that already gathered as you're launching and relaunching. And it's not something that you need to put like a huge amount of extra effort behind. It's just part of your normal flow. Okay. So once you've like gathered testimonials and social proof, again, super important to make sure that you have people's permission to use it, especially making sure that whether you're doing a survey or a form or an interview or a case study, that you are getting people's name and what name they're comfortable using. Sometimes people don't want to use their full name. Sometimes they don't want to use their image. Sometimes they don't want their website, right? Depending on what experience they've gone through with you. Sometimes there's sensitive things if you're working around mental health or parenting, or in different niches where people might have, compartmentalized from their personal life and their professional life or whatever. So you want to be sensitive to that and make sure that you get people's express permission to use things. And there's lots of different ways to do that, whether it's a waiver or, a check, like a terms and conditions kind of thing. But always make sure that you're getting that permission. And then there's lots of different ways then that you can incorporate social proof into your launch. And again, you can kind of use this for just your general business marketing as well. But of course, like website, right? Having testimonials on your website is really important. If you're launching something, whether you're doing like a free event, like a webinar or a challenge, you can always use social proof on those opt-in pages as well. So when people are signing up on your opt-in page, you have areas of the page that are providing social proof that people of the experience that people have gone through with you, right? So people, when they hit the opt-in page, I think say like, oh wow, like other people have had a really great experience at this person's live events. If you're selling a product or a program, incorporating testimonials into your sales page, your offer checkout, as well. And there was one other thing I was going to say about the pages. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, and you can on those pages, you can have written testimonials. If it's a sales page, definitely if you can get people to do video testimonials, that can be really helpful. And when you're thinking about what kinds of testimonials to include, it's really great when you get video testimonials or written testimonials, regardless, of thinking about the different types of people that are attracted to your program or course, and highlighting different kind of angles of transformation that people have gotten. So maybe there's people that join your program for different reasons, right? Like if you're a parenting coach and you have some people that are single mothers that that are attracted to your program, or you have people that are married, or you have same sex couples, right, or partners, or all different kinds of people that may join your program for different reasons. Really being diverse in your gathering of testimonials, so that when people are looking at your social proof, that they can like see themselves and see people that are represented. So whether it's race, gender, whatever personal challenges they're dealing with, abilities, people that may be in different financial situations, all different kinds of things, just being diverse and well-rounded in the testimonials that you're collecting, so people can see how diverse your program and course can be, and the different kind of people that it can help. Another form of social proof I've seen people do are like success panels. So if you're doing a live event, a lot of people will do something like a success panel where they have clients come in and share their experience live, right? Rather than like a pre-recorded case study, but people come on live to share their experience with the group. And that's a great way really to, again, to make it a win-win, because you have people that are getting, you're giving those people some exposure by coming on and sharing how they've transformed. And if, especially in the business world, right, that's a great kind of, I would call it networking, but exposure opportunity, right, to get in front of a different group of people, right? So that could support them, as well as it's supporting the people that are watching to see what's possible for them. And then also supports you in having some social proof to the transformation that you're getting people. And then I mentioned this before, but case studies can be used whether I've had people do like live one-on-one case studies during a virtual event where you go live with one of your past clients and share it in your Facebook group or on your Facebook page. Or do, you know, a Zoom or something like that. You can do things like one-on-one case studies. You can do a success panel, which is more of like a group case study, group of case studies, I should say. And then also you can incorporate it into your Facebook group or your emails when you're launching, by which, like, when someone enrolls, sharing and celebrating that in your group or in your emails, that, you know, that people have enrolled in the program. So, okay, well, we're at about 20 minutes after, and I try to keep these under 30 minutes. We're about 24 minutes in. So I hope this was helpful. Just to give a short recap, today we talked about social proofing your launch, why it's important, ways to collect social proof before you even go into launching, so that you already have it gathered and it's not like a scramble to get everything together when you're going into a launch cycle. And then where and how you can use that social proof in different ways and different places in your launch to help support people in their buying decisions. So, okay, hope this was helpful. If you catch the replay, drop in #replay. I'll be live again next week at 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on my business page, on my personal profile, and on Instagram. So have an awesome weekend, everyone, and I'll see you next week.